There's never been a better way for everyone to watch the Weather Channel. Available now on these platforms. Download now to start your free 7-day trial.
It's not just Florida bracing for impacts from Tropical Storm Debby. All of the southeast coast is now in the cone. From Georgia up through Virginia, we could see widespread wind and rain. The National Hurricane Center is already warning of historic rainfall amounts that could lead to catastrophic flooding. Tyler, we've got the long haul here with rain and wind throughout this upcoming week.
Yeah, myriad hazards across the southeast. We have millions under some sort of tropical alert across Florida, coastal Georgia, as well as the Carolinas, including our hurricane warning in Apalachicola, because we expect, in the Big Bend of Florida, because we expect Debby to rapidly intensify at some point over the next 24 hours, making landfall as a Category 1 hurricane about daybreak on Monday. So be aware of that. As it makes a landfall, it starts slowing its forward progression, and then it essentially just hangs out across the southeast for several days, dumping just huge amounts of rainfall across this area. Jacksonville, you're going to see heavy rainfall. Brunswick, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, you're going to see heavy rainfall too, as well as Charleston, South Carolina. And we're not just talking about heavy rainfall. Some areas could see up to a foot of rainfall, even localized areas seeing more than that. That definitely gives us the potential of seeing flash flooding. This area is going to be the main focus on Monday and Tuesday. Then we really get hyper-focused on coastal Georgia and the coastal Carolinas, specifically Charleston to about Myrtle Beach, once we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, because this system is really going nowhere fast. The upper level energy that usually pushes these systems out, giving it the old Heisman and having it pump the brakes for just a few days. It's probably not until Thursday or Friday that we see the system eventually eject out. So until then, Savannah and Charleston, you're going to see bouts of heavy rainfall Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and yes, on into Thursday. On top of that, you will see the gusty winds, more than likely tropical storm force winds here, and you will see rip currents. You'll see the potential for severe weather, as well as the heavy rain and the flooding too. Jen, one of the areas that will really be impacted, Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah, you know, Charleston is just one spot that we're going to have to pay extra close attention to Tropical Storm Debby. We know it doesn't take a lot of rain to cause flooding here anyway, and unfortunately, you're not going to get just a little bit of rain. You are going to get a lot. Peak rainfall amounts could add up to over 10 inches. And that's not including the 2 to 4 feet of storm surge that is also possible and may make the flooding, well, even worse than it could have been. So here's a look at the rainfall forecast. A very widespread 8 to 10 inches of rain into South Georgia, southeastern Georgia, South Carolina. We're talking up through Orangeburg and over through Charleston and north of there as well. Easily 10 inches of rain with the kind of forecast we are looking at with a slow-moving tropical system. Could there be more than this? Yes, that is possible, and that is why there's already a high risk out for flash flooding Tuesday into Wednesday, and includes that same zone, but actually extends up into Myrtle Beach, surrounding it with likely flash flooding up through Florence and Wilmington and North Carolina. You need to be ready for this heavy rain concern getting in through this week. We've got, on a high-risk day, is always a dangerous day. 83% of the yearly flood damages happen on high-risk days. And so, you know, that's why this needs to be front and center for you in terms of preparation. If you're in a zone, if you're in that area that we outlined with a high risk, you need to be ready for flooding. Now, here's where some rain is right now. We've got a couple showers out there around Charleston and Savannah. What's going to happen in the next 2 days is really when we get into our heavy rainfall. As we get through overnight tonight into tomorrow, we see some of that heavy rain now lifting up through tomorrow afternoon. So Savannah, by evening, we are in those outer bands and the very heavy rainfall, and likely the very strong winds too, potentially knocking out power. Watching that in Hilton Head Island through overnight Monday through Tuesday, still dealing with it right here, Charleston. You notice how the direction of these bands are moving on shore. That would be a push of water moving on shore as well. You can see the circulation coming right over here, and this is Wednesday now. We're still dealing with it. So now we've got at least 3 days, if not longer, and dealing with heavy tropical downpours and the winds that go with it. Speaking of the winds, I do want to focus in on what we could be dealing with. Savannah, 20 to 30 through Monday, Tuesday, it ramps up, and we could be seeing winds up over 40 or 50 miles per hour. This is your Wednesday forecast. still dealing with these kind of winds. And even if, 40-mile-per-hour winds won't maybe mean power outages, but if you have 3 days of 40-mile-per-hour winds, that could mean more widespread power outages. Charleston, South Carolina, this is what your forecast looks like. We've got the rain on Monday. Tuesday is going to be some of the heaviest of rain continuing into Wednesday. So 3 solid days of really heavy rainfall. And you look at Thursday, we are not out of it yet. We are still dealing with that potential of rain and thunderstorms. And of course, gusty winds that go along with this that could create the flooding concern as well as the flooding problems.